February, the month of Valentine's Day, a particularly romantic month, and with the day becoming longer, I'm sure we're all noticing now that it's not quite as dark as it was even 4 weeks ago, possibly the promise of spring ahead. Welcome to Wrexham Property TV. And coming up on this month's episode is so everything seems to be happening in terms of pace, in terms of buoyancy on the lettings market currently. If I said to you that a property last week engaged 152 emails of interest in one property in this town, it just shows you what the demand is for rental property. And I'm sure, like many other agents in the town, my only problem is getting enough stock, enough housing stock to be able to service the demand. But that picture is actually true right throughout the UK. But in Wrexham, 42%, I think I've said it before, 42% less rental properties this year than there was pre-pandemic. That is a sizable reduction in the number of rental properties, which has generated significant price increases, significant rental increases, and significant yield increases. The UK average now is £1,172 per calendar month. That's the average in the UK. In Wales, it's £965 per calendar month. And in Wrexham, it's £675 per calendar month, according to Dataloft. Now, our average is slightly above that, so we're running at an average of £725 per calendar month for rental property across our rental portfolio. And in Wrexham, 44%, quite a high margin now of high mix of type of property. 44% of all rental properties are apartments and flats, and they average out at £577 per calendar month, whereas the rest being houses, they average at £755 per calendar month. Over the last 5 years, rental prices in Wrexham, as an average, have increased by 25.7%. Major issue is the lack of rental properties. And simple economics, with the supply of properties reducing and the demand for properties remaining high, inevitably prices have gone up. Of that 25.7%, 15.1% increase was on flats and apartments, and 25% was the increase was on houses themselves. Why should you be looking to use us as your letting agency? Well, I think there are three main reasons which I hope you'll agree with me distinguish us in the level of service we are able to provide from the average letting agency. We have a dedicated property inspector employed within Belvoir Wrexham, and that person inspects every property quarterly. Every other letting agent that I'm aware of only actually inspect properties twice a year. With the new legislation that came in from the 1st of December, I do believe the risk to landlords with having twice yearly inspections has grown, certainly, and to me is completely unreasonable. So secondly, we are able to attain a far higher average rental price in Wrexham than any other letting agency. Our average rental price is now standing at 725. That is a full £50 per calendar month greater than the current average in the town itself. And third point, you'll be aware since the 1st of December that all ASTs, all assured short-hold tenancy contracts, have actually become occupation contracts. What we did, we took the novel step of issuing all our tenants with an occupational contract that was a conversion contract. This means that there is no requirement for those people to have a written statement issued individually to each of those tenants before the 1st of June to make that tenancy a legal tenancy. If you have a property which is being managed by another agent, the earlier you have the conversation, if you already haven't had that conversation, the earlier you have a conversation to establish what steps they're taking and when, to ensure that the AST has a written statement, an accurate written statement with it to legalize that contract, the better. Not doing anything is putting you in some degree of trepidation that could mean that your tenancy becomes an illegal tenancy. If that did happen, you could find that you have to reimburse your tenant for the last few months fully in terms of their rental payments that they've made to you. Now, it's now time to act on that basis. Otherwise, you may very well find that you're on the wrong side of the law as it exists now after the 1st of December. As you can imagine, ensuring that our landlords have got the very best quality tenants for their property is a major responsibility that we hold very seriously. And the way that we ensure that that is started off in the most accurate and the most defined way possible is we ask every prospective tenant to be reference and credit checked by Let Alliance, a company actually that's located very close to Wrexham itself. They're a nationwide company, and I thought I'd ask Simon Bishop, the customer development manager, to come along and answer a few questions just to let you guys know to what level, to what detail do these references go to.
So Let Alliance referencing is a blend of people and technology. So unlike other competitors who only use technology to run certain parts of their referencing process, we use a blend of both. So we understand that not every application falls into a certain box. So we do need humans to look at certain documents to make sure that they're all okay. We are there to try and make sure we're getting the best tenant we can for the agent and the landlord. Because at the end of the day, the agent is our customer, but the landlord is the agent's customer. So we want to make sure that we're happy advising to put tenants into properties. So it's not to catch people out. So if someone has got a CCJ or bankruptcy, we may guarantee or recommend them or advise a certain way, but it's still down to the agent and the landlord if they want to accept the tenant. And I think that's what makes us stand out from the rest, really, the fact that we've got people that are trained, know what they're doing day in, day out, and they specifically look after certain accounts, so they understand certain trends within the markets. We're always adapting, we're always changing, we're always looking for new solutions. So in the current market, we're seeing a lot of fraudulent applications. So we use software to see if the documentation has been edited in any way by their tenants. So it's very, very clever stuff. So it'll even tell you what has been changed, the date it was changed, and what it was changed from and to. So we can now see really clearly if that document has been tampered with. Let Alliance are primarily a referencing provider. However, we do offer rent guarantee. So what that basically does is that will pay the rent if the tenant defaults on rent, for up to 15 months or until vacant possession of the property. Unlike other rent guarantees that you might find out there on the market, ours is a zero excess, and we pay the agent, and the agent liaises with our legally trained team in Chester. So a landlord does not need to really get involved at all. Just keep watching that rent hit their bank account every month until vacant possession or 15 months. Let Alliance can also offer landlords buildings and contents insurance. This policy, again, is really, really good, especially at the moment with inflation rising. So the policy is a blanket cover. So we cover a property up to £500,000 as standard. A lot of landlords and a lot of people will understand how much their property is worth on the open market. However, that's completely different to rebuild. So they could find themselves massively underinsured or massively overinsured. So with our policy, it takes all that guesswork away. The policy will also cover accidental damage caused by the tenant as standard. It can also cover malicious damage up to £500,000 caused by the tenant for an additional fee. And again, that is on a zero excess. So if you make a claim, as long as the claim's over £100, it costs you nothing to make that claim. So we've got a couple of policies for tenants. So the first one is tenant liability insurance, and that will cover up to 4 tenants for up to £5,000 worth of damages because of the landlord's fixtures and fittings. Okay, when it comes to the contents, so the tenant's contents is £15.05 a month, and that'll cover, like I said, all of their benefits from the tenant liability insurance, plus £10,000 worth of their own items, so their TVs, laptops, and that can cover up to 4 tenants on a tenancy agreement. So if you want to split that out between whoever's on the tenancy, then they can. We just need one lead tenant.
Very excited to tell you about this new level of service that Belvoir Wrexham are going to introduce on property for sale. You'll be aware that usually for top-ended properties, we have included video content, which has worked extremely well for us. Well, now I would like to introduce video content for marketing for sale properties throughout our sales portfolio. It will attract more views and more property viewing requests. That is what the statistics show across the industry. Nobody else is doing it in Wrexham, and I'd like to bring it out there to the market. So if you are currently on sale and would like to enhance the marketing of your property, or indeed you may be thinking about bringing your property onto the for sale market, let me illustrate to you the quality of the video work we can undertake for you to showcase your property. Hi, my name is Vaughan Schofield. Today you'll find me in the village of Marford, one of the most exclusive postcodes in the county of Wrexham, where I have got a beautiful detached 4-bedroom property for sale. Come and take a look. If you are in the market for a detached 3-bedroom family home with 3 reception rooms, offering plenty of space, you could do a lot worse and take a close look at this video of 8 Woodside Court. And that was our February edition of Wrexham Property TV. Please join us again in March when we will have some more property related matters to discuss and inform you about.